Mother-in-law is asking for money for the bathhouse for the fourth time already. Tatiana was immediately against giving her any money, but nevertheless, her husband Andrei has already given his mother significant sums 3 times, and she always asked specifically for the construction of the bathhouse. She kept saying she wants to splash around in the steam. That's a different story in the bathhouse. You can steam, then have some tea, sit, talk. Mother-in-law lived in a small village. They had a good, sturdy house with a plot of land. They had a bathhouse, but it burned down. Mother-in-law used to live with Andrei's younger brother, Yuri. Andrei and his wife lived in the city. They lived from paycheck to paycheck. They always counted money, tried to save on everything. Of course, giving mother-in-law 1,000 euros for a bathhouse. For them, it was a big hole in the budget. Andrei took out a loan 3 times. Tatiana's outrage knew no bounds. "Where did your mother get the money last time?" She yelled at her husband when she heard that her mother-in-law was asking for money for the same bathhouse again. Tatiana thought that she wouldn't have the conscience to ask for money again. But it turns out, this quality is completely absent in her mother-in-law towards her elder son. Beloved younger brother Yuri lived with her, and she always helped him. Tatiana and Andrei bought an apartment on mortgage. They paid for it for 10 years, didn't allow themselves anything extra. They went on vacation to Andrei's mother's village. There was an old bathhouse there then, but Tatiana was perfectly fine with the shower. She suspected that the bathhouse burned down because of Andrei's younger brother, but no one in the family talked about it. As if she burned down herself. Now Tatiana and her husband rarely go to the village, they got tired of it. They prefer to rest in inexpensive guest houses, and it's far for them to go there. Now they are saving money for a car. Mother-in-law constantly calls Andrei when she needs something done, although her younger son lives nearby. Andrei went, but not often. Mother-in-law constantly complained that she had to do everything herself, and then her back hurt, and her legs didn't walk well. Tatiana wants to ask her if she also tells Yuri everything or just Andrei. Mother-in-law, a widow, Tatiana feels a little sorry for her. She turned to them for the first time with a request for money for the bathhouse when they were still paying off the mortgage. Andrei immediately refused, but as soon as their payments were over, Mother immediately turned to them again. "You'll come to us to steam," she praised the bathhouse. And Andrei agreed. That time he took out a loan for 1,000 euros and gave it to his mother. She called on the phone, said everything was fine. The workers were working. A month later, Tatiana insisted on going there to see. And what did she see? There were no works on the plot. Mother-in-law stalled for a long time, saying that the workers were paid, but something happened to them, and the work was delayed. But Tatiana found out that, as it turns out, Yuri was studying at the institute. They wanted to expel him, so his mother had to pay those same money. Tatiana was indignant for a long time. Couldn't she say straight away why she needed the money, or maybe she couldn't? Tatiana looked her husband in the eye. The guy is 22 years old. What money does he live on? Let him go to work, why does he need education? A year passed. Yuri finally finished his studies. He worked somewhere, but apparently, he and his mother didn't have enough money again. And mother-in-law started another song about the bathhouse again. It turns out Yuri is getting married. A nice girl lives nearby. They will have half a house there with Yuri, with a separate entrance. Mother-in-law was happy and immediately started talking about the bathhouse again. Andrei gave his mother 500 euros, but all the money went to Yuri's wedding. Andrei openly shouted at his mother. They weren't even invited to the wedding. Tatiana also shouted at her husband. 100 euros would have been enough for them as a gift, and you gave 500 to your mother, and she spent them on her son's wedding. Mother-in-law didn't stay behind and replied to them like this. What did you want? For your brother to get married like some stray dog. So that people laughed and pointed fingers. What a mess we are. Andrei just waved his hand, and they left. Tatiana understood, mother-in-law is the same as she was, all talk. She turned to her son for the third time with the same song about the bathhouse. This time she even came to their city and showed them the contract. And Andrei, reluctantly, gave her money again. And then it turned out that these money Yuri and his wife were doing repairs in their house. Mother-in-law justified herself for a long time. The matchmakers promised to give them money. But something didn't work out there. Yuri and his wife will live in a hovel. The matchmakers will give them money, they promised. That's how the bathhouse will be built. Tatiana stopped talking to her mother-in-law, crossed out her phone number, and told her husband that if she hears anything about your bathhouse for the fourth time, I'll divorce you. I'll leave with our daughter. Or rather, you'll leave us. Andrei has already been divorced 3 times because of money. And who led him on? His own mother. He didn't talk to his brother either. He's supposed to be an adult guy already, married, they'll have a child soon, and he takes money from his mother. It's not a man's deed. And then mother-in-law started asking for money again. Why does she need a bathhouse? You need to steam your bones, and your daughter will benefit from it. Yuri has a son now. You'll come here more often. We'll all sit together at the same table, whose drinks we'll drink, talk. Because we are one family. What will you say to her in response? Tatiana looked at her husband and with a bitter smile asked what Yuri lacks again now. Let him say straight away.